Trigger warnings for episode 15 include mycophobia, memory loss, PTSD, minor descriptions of body horror, and mention of blood. A list of the topics, themes, and subject matter featured in this episode can be found in the description. So we return to the last Arcanist as we leave the room where we found Yara etching in the new, this newfound family here. As the rest of you kind of get a glimpse of this life before, you would see there is a little door that leads out to this little fenced-in backyard. Most of it is dilapidated at this point. The fences, the roof. There's like a little workshop out back. The door is still closed, but you see that the roof is kind of concaved in a little bit. Not enough to destroy it, but it is concaved in a little bit. The wood shake shingles, some of them broken off and scattered about on the ground. But as you all find yourselves here, looking to take this kind of a place of rest tonight before you make that final push into the Gloom Peak Sierras, to the destination to potentially stop this event from happening. Where do we find everybody else in this moment, kind of as we leave Yara there, as you kind of have some time to settle down and prepare before all of this?
I think Thessalus is kind of not quite like fully wandering the home, but after kind of stepping away to give Yara a little bit of space, and as people are kind of spreading out and stuff, I think he's sort of wandering around, as this is probably one of the first times he's seen a kind of real example of home life for most people. I think his life was always the pits, at least as long as he can remember. And so kind of this idea of these kind of different bedrooms and living spaces that they shared. I think he's kind of just wandering the halls, trying to get an idea of what that means and what it looks like.
Yeah, I think as you wander the halls, Thessalus, as you leave that room, you would see that there is a pathway that leads to another room where you would see a bigger bed. There would be a small wardrobe that is worn, covered in dust. You see that there is what looks like a rack where you see old clothes, worn and tattered, but clearly a place that was lived in, a home. You see there's a small fireplace over there as well, off to the side in that bedroom, a small one, and there's some pieces of wood still there, the chimney extending out, and you would see small little leather-bound journals of just leather-bound journals on there. Some of them are a little worn and waterlogged. As you see, there is a small break in the ceiling where water has clearly come in, But you see that, and kind of as you continue to walk through the space, you see the living room where the rocking chairs are. There's another, what looks like a cast iron stove that extends out, where you see pots on top of it. A small little nook where there's a table and chairs set out where a family would have dinner together. You just take this all in here in this house, in this moment. What was, clearly a place that was loved, and memories that still linger in this place.
I think he's kind of walking around, kind of trailing a hand on the walls. I think as he sees kind of that rack of clothes, he kind of feels the fabrics a bit, kind of thinks about what it means to have clothes that aren't armor, and rooms that aren't, where you sleep and where you fight. And kind of ending up in that living room, I think is kind of spends probably the most time there after moving about, and kind of comes to be kind of standing in the corner, like kind of looking out of the room and just silently kind of imagining what it would mean to kind of move in these areas as someone else.
I think as you stand in that living room, does Elanor or does someone walk in on anyone on Thessalus kind of standing here in this moment?
Well, now that you mention it, I had another plan, but dang it, you had to name drop me and drag me into this.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
No, I do. I have to. I think Elanor probably made her way outside just to kind of scan, like kind of just the panic, anxiety after seeing the sky and whatnot, making sure that no one has tried to sneak up on them before. I think she turns and looks inside and just kind of watches Thessalus very silently, just kind of feeling for him this loss of a life that he's never had, and also thinking about the life that she had taken from her, and not just in regards to what happened after she lost her voice, but like the fact that she can't remember those memories of slow mornings with her siblings and her parents. And so I think there's a twinge of sadness as she watches Thessalus, because it's for her, it's like, at least one day I'll get those memories back. I'll remember those things. But he's never going to get back what he's never had. And so I think she just watches really quietly and just takes in the scene of him exploring.
And I think as you take it in that moment, where do we find everyone else, kind of as Elanor watches through and sees Thessalus there? Róisín, Hugo, Cordy.
I think maybe Cordy walks in at this point, like a little bit behind everybody after being in the apothecary for a bit. And I think he looks around and sees Doc, and he just kind of walks up and just holds out the piece of paper.
Oh, what's this?
Found it in the other room. Don't know if it's important.
I'll take the piece of paper and look at it.
Wow, this is
I have an idea of what I'd say to seeing this, but if you have an idea.
No, you can go for it. As you take it, what do you say as you look at this paper?
I look at it and I say, I don't recognize this person.
Me either. I don't know.
I think you do recognize the name, though, as you see the name Zahar. This is the first time you're ever seeing what your mother looked like.
Yeah. I think I'll upon recognizing the name and putting that piece together, Cordy would certainly hear a gasp from Yara.
Everything all right?
I think this might be my mom.
Oh.
And I don't think I've ever seen my.
Oh. Do you want me to, should I? Sorry.
It's okay.
Are
Can
you
I keep
okay?
this?
Of course, please. Yes, I have no use for it. What would I need with it?
I don't know. You're eccentric.
Thank you.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm glad I had the foresight to take it.
I know you like mushrooms and the like. There's a workshop out back. If there's something, there might be something back there that you might like.
More, and he'll just kind of walk away.
And I think Yara would just sit there looking at the picture, like taking in all the details of her mom's face.
Yara, what does your mom look like?
I think she has a round face. I guess it's drawn, so you can't really make out skin tone, but she would have like a tanner, darker skin. Curly, wavy hair that goes down her back. Just like I'm imagining, like a very gentle smile and kind eyes. A very like pleasant, pretty woman.
I think as you take that in and look at it, we see Cordy scutter off to the back towards the workshop. We'll say as Cordy, you head out in that direction, you reach it, and as you walk in, the door would be closed to it, but there is a small window so you could see inside, and it's clearly a workshop. There's things pinned up onto the wall, old parchment paper. Some of it's worn down and like clearly some of it's been deteriorated just over time. 200 years is a long time being exposed to the elements. But would Cordy walk in into the space in this moment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just check it out. Yeah, so as you walk in to the area, it's pretty dark in the space, but you do see there is like a little oil lamp to the side. But what you would notice are a few things in this space.
Just as like a small little detail with that oil flask, I think Cordy just uses his prestidigitation and like lights it with a snap of his fingers as he walks in.
Awesome. So as you snap your fingers, the flame ignites, the room illuminates here, and you see a workshop of someone that not only was an herbalist, but someone that was trained in medicinal medicines. You would see pictures of various plants and herbs and items that could be collected and utilized to help heal people, help cure certain ailments. You see these kind of drawn on the wall, the paper very much decayed and whatnot, but there is one specific thing you see on the wall that is very interesting in this moment. You see a picture of a clank body, schematics to it, and it looks just like Doc.
Okay. Is it is it just like a sketch of like their plans, or is it like full schematics, like there's info on every part, everything?
everything.
All right. I think I will do my best to delicately take this off the wall, fold it up, and put it in my pack. And then I'll also try to gather up these like notes and research and medicinal things as I kind of like I'm looking through them, and I'm like, I see where the doctor gets it from. And I'll pack that away to give to Doc in a little bit.
Yeah. And I think one other thing too, that like as you're packing up things, there'd be one other piece you would check as you're in this space, kind of here in this moment. You would also see there is another drawing and sketch of what looks like these 3 glass crystals, and they you would see that beneath it would say soul anchors beneath those, as you see these kind of little glass crystal vials, as well as you're kind of like collecting these notes and things.
And I know they're not the same at all in name, but does this look anything like Tegwin's like divinium crystals or anything?
No, it's a little different than than that. Yeah.
All right, and I think I'll definitely grab that too and put it not with the medical notes, but with the doc schematic.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so because you guys, as you said, and I would say too, there's supplies in there too, like some other herbs and things that Cordy could take as
he's
well.
grabbing everything.
Yeah, and there's like some dried mushrooms. Maybe there might be some kind of mushrooms in there. You know what I'm saying?
He's already got them in his mouth. It's fine.
Yeah, he's like, yep,
In his
delicious.
mouth.
Oh, he knows what's up.
Yeah. Amazing. So as we push away from the that location, the little workshop there, back inside, where would we find Róisín and Hugo in this moment? Kind of as here.
I think wherever they are, Róisín's just going to lean over to Hugo and say, "So, are you still thinking about that castle in the sky as well?"
Oh, I think you're muted, Angie.
It's
all right.
Keep that in.
Quiet scream.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys didn't hear that. I wouldn't want to, ruin your ears or anything. Anyways, I'm certainly attempting to try and make sense of it. We quite literally witness the domain of the very creature that keeps its eyes on us day in and day out, whatever that means anymore.
It's haunting to think that he must be so close to establishing his new domain amongst the others. And honestly, the idea of an additional domain wouldn't be the worst thing ever, so long as one was able to connect with it and draw power from it, but whatever he is, I don't think any of us would be able to do so.
Everything feels it just feels somewhat out of our depth to some extent, doesn't it?
Yes. That's wild coming from me of all people. The world is constantly full of surprises.
Well, I know you are burdened with the weight of however long it is that you've been existing in this world and every bit of memory that comes with it. But has there never been anything like this?
I lived through the time of storms, and that was a chaos all of its own, but that was still mostly man-made at the end of the day? Whereas this is something entirely different. Something beyond all ken.
Well, I guess it's the first time for everything.
If not, it would be quite boring.
How are you doing? It's been a few days.
I'll have to feed again soon. It's probably a good idea to do so anyway before we head off into battle. But I believe I have arrangements made.
All right. If you need any help, I would be happy to.
What, you want me to feel off you again already?
I am willing to assist, is all I'm saying. But if you have arrangements, I will not come between you and your arrangements.
Thank you all the same, but it's best if we spread the love a wee bit just to forego any unnecessary addictions or temptations.
Right. I had a memory. Do you know anything about his citadel? I don't think it would be like the onyx one that Orinthus would had told us about, where your aunt is. That didn't seem quite right, but in your memory, in your before all of this, do you know anything about a citadel? Something called a citadel?
What a curious question indeed. Do I know anything about a citadel?
Now I'm the one muted. It's been a while. It's been a while. I was looking at something in that moment. And I was like, I don't want to, like, as I was talking to myself, I'm like, I don't want anybody to hear what I'm saying. So if you want to go ahead and make in this moment, go ahead and make a knowledge roll for me, Róisín. It's not a super high DC. So
I will spend a hope to use my Wandering Muse experience.
Perfect.
See if I've encountered anything on my travels.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing. Knowledge. Where's this is? That'll be 27.
27.
With hope.
Oh my, a 27?
Nice.
I got a 12 and an 11.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's crazy. Okay. Yes, you are very familiar with this location. The Solaris Citadel. It is located in the capital city of Mardoon in Icarus. And it is a place where all knowledge of the world, of the realms of Atalantia, is kept. There are particular areas of study that things are broken into. There's a part of it called the Seed Vault, where any seeds, plants, flowers that were created are stored in this area in case of events that would require these items to be replanted in the world. There's the observatorium, where the study of the stars and sky, and the constellations, and how Dwemer weaves with all of that. There's areas of myth and folklore, historical events, artifacts and oddities, the study of Dwemer, the pantheon, laws of the realms, and agriculture, and it is a place of in environmental studies. It is a place of all knowledge is stored, and it is a grand place, and has one of the largest. Has the second largest astrolabe in all of Atalantia. There's only one other astrolabe that you have seen that is bigger than that one, and that is the one that the Arcanist built, which you saw when you were at Tegwin's induction as an Arcanist.
Wouldn't happen to mean the Solaris Citadel, would you? Does that ring a bell?
Solaris Citadel.
Be in Icarus?
It's not currently ringing a bell, but I'll try and see if I remember.
Used to keep all sorts of knowledge there. Lots of wee scholars running around the place.
Right.
It's a lovely sight to behold.
Scholars. Right, okay. It was almost as if, when I was looking at what we saw with Osratos, it was just like a natural reaction to think. I read about this in the Citadel.
Which begs the question, what were you doing at the Citadel?
Right. Well, I think you have things planned for yourself. I will take my leave.
As you wish.
Yeah, Hugo, I think would walk off, hesitate maybe just like a little bit, do like this sort of like kind of thing, and then just like turn around and actually walk off. I think they just kind of go back outside, I would say, just to stare back out at the sky to see if there's any more of the ripples, any more of the falling stars. Kind of wanting to see if there is any additional triggers.
Yeah. Go ahead and make an instinct roll for me.
Oh.
You're gonna make me roll in a TTRPG.
All you're doing is jumping on the zip line. Without you going home. Sorry. I don't know if it's a deep cut or not. I don't think it's a deep cut. It was instinct?
Instinct, yeah. Let me know if it's hope or fear.
What's this? I rolled the same thing I rolled last time, which was a 7 on my hope and a 6 on my fear. So with hope, that's 13 and plus 2, 15.
Yeah. As you look up at the sky, you do see those Dwemer fractals. But I think this time you would notice a little bit of a difference in them. When they pulse, you would see again that kind of iridescent lightning crackle off of them. But this time it's not, it's more of a specific color, as you see it shifts more to just this almost dull pale green just scattering across the sky. And you start to notice that as it ripples, there is like almost hexagonal shapes that are starting to form in the sky above.
The sky is falling.
But yeah, that's what you would notice. It's not happening super fast, but that's what you would know. That would be the slight difference there in that moment in the sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Hugo has this kind of moment where they're just standing there staring at it. And they shake themselves out of it and also feel kind of awkward standing in the middle of not a field. I don't think they were a field. They're just right outside the house, but like looking out into the field and everything, just feeling a little bit uncomfortable about having that kind of the immediate sense of like, let me not be a scarecrow, actually. Let me actually go be a person and not stand out here. So they just kind of trudge back inside and just find a corner to exist. Okay. T-pose.
Amazing. I think as you kind of just go inside and just settle down in your T-pose, I think, Róisín, you said you were going to try and seek out, I wanted to kind of circle back to that. You're going to potentially seek out Thessalus in that moment.
I'll go see if I can steal him away for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did Hugo return to kind of the main living room area or kind of another spot to retreat to? Is basically this all still alone in there?
Well, he's not alone.
Well, he's being watched.
Somebody's watching.
But he doesn't know that. Róisín wouldn't know that either.
I think let's just say that Hugo is not present for that. You know, cool. It's I will allow the stage for you guys.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Well, I'm removing myself from it.
I think Thessalus then is standing kind of as he was before, but has specifically kind of ended up behind some kind of armchair or couch or something like that. Just kind of has a hand on the fabric, lost in thought.
I feel as though there's been some distance between us ever since, well, everything that happened. Are you okay?
I mean, I guess I'm all right. I'll admit I was shaken by the events with Orinthus. I faced an adversary I couldn't fight. Or at least for a time I felt I was fighting as I was in the water. And suddenly I couldn't move. And I couldn't fight. And that was new for me.
What's the use of a warrior if you can't fight, huh?
I agree. Also, apparently something happened that I couldn't see. But, perhaps that was true for all of us.
I suppose. For what it's worth, I did try to pull you out, but I seemed to only end up falling into the pit myself.
It seems the pit was designed for that very purpose, almost.
Well, at least we fell into it together.
Perhaps.
Nice company to have. Still, it seems as though, in the midst of everything, I did try to feed off you. Which I apologize.
I was unaware.
Well, apparently you also tried to kill me in exchange, so, you know, plenty of blame to go around.
I think I can remember the moments where that might have at least looked different to me. I'm glad we both made it to the other side.
Honestly, part of me is just a wee bit disappointed. I'd be curious to see what would have happened if the two of us were to go against each other.
It would be quite a battle, I'm sure.
Well, I'm always up for the challenge. As long as no weapons are involved.
Said no weapons.
Yeah, so I didn't want to give you any sort of unfair advantage.
You've got your scythe. And your
Promise
wings. If one of us has an advantage, I'm not sure it's me.
Oh, I thought you would have brought up the whole magic, but...
Oh, well. I honestly have perhaps a lack of experience there. As evidenced perhaps by Orinthus.
Oh no, I think you have your own sense of charm about you. Bit of practice on that, and who knows, maybe you'll be able to work some magic all of your own.
You never know.
Still, I feel the need to offer up an apology of some sort, and along with it, your trace of bone from me. Whatever it is you desire, whatever request you may have for me, I will be happy to fulfill it to the best of my abilities, to atone for what I did.
I guess I have a question. After the argument, as you were leaving, you said that you loved us.
I do?
What did that mean?
Oh. It's not an easy thing to answer. Love is a vast ocean of feeling and experiences and expressions, which we only have a few paltry words to begin to dredge its depths. So I don't know if it's such a thing that I could give an answer to, but if I were to put it simply, I think Róisín is just going to step close to Thessalus and gently press himself against him, wrap his arms around him, and just envelop him in a hug. And just stay there for a moment, just skin to skin, heartbeats against each other. The feeling of a grapple it's the intimacy of a grapple without any of the animosity.
I think, for Thessalus, I think he's mostly kind of motionless in this, but it definitely doesn't necessarily pull away. I think it reminds him of other moments of kind of physical contact that he's had since we kind of all met. Tegwin showing kind of a moment of comfort with a hand on the arm, or I'm bad at specifics, but I think he just kind of thinks back to moments of connection like that, and goes from kind of maybe tense, you feel him slightly soften.
How does this feel?
I guess it feels fine. Strange, maybe. I've wrestled before, I guess. But this seems different, obviously.
Just a wee bit. How does it compare?
I don't feel like I'm winning.
Trust me, no one ever does against me.
Right. How long does it last?
How long do you want?
Oh, maybe for this one, I'm good. I'm good for now.
All right.
Right.
I suppose I want what's best for all of you, even if it's detrimental to myself. And when you are all in pain, I want to take that pain away from you all. When you are happy, I want to share in all of that joy. at night I want to lay with all of you and drift off to sleep into gentlest of reveries, and I want to wake up to the sight of all of you and the excitement of what lies ahead for all of us on the morrow.
It's a nice thought. There's a lot of pain these days.
Love doesn't come without pain.
Interesting. I spoke with Cordy back in the forest about trust. These sound similar.
I suppose they go hand in hand. So I suppose you can love someone, not necessarily trust them. Or just you can trust someone and not love them the same way.
Do you trust me?
I do. Do you trust me after everything?
Whatever that word means to me. I think so.
Might I ask you for one small favor then?
Yeah,
Even if it does mean compounding my debt to you.
Ask freely.
I would need to feed again. And I was wondering if you would entertain the idea of allowing me to partake of you.
I think as everything changes, have felt more and more out of my element, perhaps. I was raised for a specific purpose in a specific place. And we were far from there. And it seems we're getting closer. But I know that place has changed. If I can continue to be of use in some way, I would happily let you feed.
I know what it's like to be born with a specific purpose in mind. How tied it becomes to your being. How every fabric of yourself bends towards that purpose, see it fulfilled, and how devastating the failure to do so can be. Suppose we are both slaves to our purpose, but if I can be useful to you in turn, then I see this as a fairly equitable arrangement between the both of us, wouldn't you say?
I think perhaps my life is better used in your hands.
I'll be gentle. I'll lean in and ask, where would you feel comfortable with me feeding?
But what's the norm?
It's complicated. How much do you understand about affect theory?
Assume none.
Right, well, magic sort of works on how close the ideas are together, so if I am to feed someone, it works better when I'm using my mouth, as you eat with your mouth, I suppose. Whereas if I were to feed off life force, then a point of the body that contains specific vigor, I suppose. So the wrist, where you can feel your pulse, the neck,
Specific rigor.
the mouth as well.
I guess my neck would be fine.
Very well.
He'll kind of, obviously, Róisín isn't particularly short or anything like that, but he'll kind of feeling the same fabric of that chair, lean over a bit, kind of tilting his head to the side.
Róisín will just lean in and with one hand sort of move the strap of the helmet out of the way, and then gently just press his mouth against the corner of Thessalus' neck where there is that thumping of the jugular, where you can feel sort of the life force and vitae pulsing through his body. And Róisín will feed. And so once again, there is that overwhelming flood of sensation through Thessalus. Sense of pain, joy, comfort, memory, sensation, and primordial love. And what would Thessalus imagine in this moment? I guess I would say.
Yeah. I think there's a mix of things. I think something maybe Róisín would notice is how much heat comes off of Thessalus, just kind of constantly. He's a warm dude, that's why he doesn't wear a lot of clothes.
That's why.
And with that, I think as you're kind of this close to both his life force and him, you can feel that one of the things that has kept him alive is this kind of primal drive to survive. The life in him is raging and hot and angry. And I think that, I don't know if Róisín can see any of this as well, but I think for Thessalus, he's seeing these moments of victory. Something he probably hasn't talked about as much with kind of the distance he's had from the pits. But moments of him, young, standing over bloodied corpses, with his hand raised in the air by someone larger than him, as a crowd kind of surrounding him cheers. And there's this swelling of emotion and pride at the death that surrounds him. And then that kind of shifts into that same kind of rage and drive to him kind of on the run and moving and kind of never being the same place for very long as he's kind of left the pits and traveling with another person. And that's where kind of this idea of this connection within this life and this kind of love and all this kind of stuff swells, and this idea of another person whose life is so closely tied to his. And yeah, I think it sits on that until maybe kind of suddenly it's almost snuffed, as they were as well.
You, or a creature, taste of anguish and adrenaline, pride and pain.
I'm not really sure what I am anymore. I feel as though I lost whatever person there was before. And what survived was something angry.
Can I ask you a question? And it's an important one, so take all the time you need to mull it over, but if you don't know what you are, what would you want to be, Thessalus? If you could be anything.
I don't think what I've wanted has ever mattered. But I guess I could consider it.
Consider this some inspiration from the muse. Think on it, and when you have your answer, come back to me. I imagine we might have something important to talk over.
I will.
With that, Róisín will just give one last quick hug before he leaves Thessalus. Just the smell of roses in his wake as he drifts off into the darkness.
As you drift into the darkness, Róisín, I think we sit on Thessalus for a moment. And in front of him, where he's standing, is a window. And we kind of push out through that window. There's a tree there, and we see standing, watching this entire interaction, is Elanor.
Could I hear any of the conversation, or I just saw it?
No, you heard it, because there's
Okay.
broken glass and everything.
Right. Elanor stands motion and emotionless. There are too many emotions for one singular one to really surface through. She feels angry. She feels hurt. But I think the biggest thing that she feels is disappointment in herself, and she can't exactly pinpoint why. There's just this overwhelming weight of her chest, in her chest, that sits in a place of what good is any of the things that I have tried to do if they are not remembered, but she, even herself, cannot remember those things. And I think she just stands there with like a tear rolling down her face, kind of clinging to her eyes for a second before it falls from her cheek, down her chin and her neck. As this overwhelming sense of negative emotions and the fact that she can't remember why she feels she failed, as she just kind of sits there and stares.
As you stand there and feel this emotion, cut back inside from Elanor. And I think we'll pivot back over for a moment to Yara. As you finish sketching this in, drawing this new little family, is there anything else Yara does in this moment?
I think she's sort of looking around the room, taking in all of the various details, looking at the toys that were left behind, looking at her sister's beds, just trying to just take it all in and remember as much detail as possible so she feels like she has this memory.
I think as you look at the items, the toys here, there's this Can you make a knowledge reaction roll for me in this moment?
Okay. All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh. Okay, this is good. I could do math for a second. 23.
23. I think as you look at this stuff, and you kind of hold it there for a second in the window, there's a bit of like that light from the sky cracks in. It almost creates this sunbeam like effect in this room. And I think another memory hits you in this moment of the last time you were in this room.
Mm-hmm.
You laying here sick. Your sister's the same. A terrible fever that had fallen upon the village here. Something was overcoming the village of Talua. And you remember how hard your father tried to help save you and your sisters. But it wasn't that he was trying to save you necessarily from he was trying to save you from the sickness, but there was something more there. And I think you remember a moment when you, Kamara and Zuri were all in the same bed. Your father was frantic. And he came into that room and he says he didn't have much time, but he would find a way. He would find a way to get you all back together. And you remember him pulling out these small glass vials. And you remember a point where everything kind of seemed to get blurry. And I think that's where that last kind of memory hits you in that moment. The end of that.
Do I see those glass vials in the room with me, or?
No.
I
I think you remember. Yeah, no. You wouldn't see them in there, no.
Okay. What did the vials look like?
Yeah, they look like almost like they were like small crystal vials, essentially, like glass crystal vials, essentially. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll keep that in my head as I sort of look out the window, the light hitting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think in that point, Cordy, would you have come back in at this point? Probably. Okay.
Yeah,
I think you would
probably
pass
at
by
this
the
point.
area. Yeah, I think you would pass by and you would see Doc. Is Cordy doing anything specifically, or just kind of like eating? What is Cordy doing as he comes back in here?
I think Cordy's kind of he's like walking in, but he's like just a little bit looser than he was when he left. And he brings back a stack of papers for Doc, and he just I see where you get it from, Doctor. These notes look thorough. Figured you might want to have them.
I'll take them and start looking over them. Thank you.
And just as a note, I do not yet give you the diagram of the body or the other thing that I found.
The soul anchors?
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then I'll look over the notes that I do have. I love the secrets.
Yeah. I think as you look over the notes, you just find more items for. You find some unique solutions and some things that your father was working on. Different types of things to not only like medicinal to heal people, but also ways to help aid in fighting and things like that. You see like a recipe for something called dark smoke, and you find a recipe for something that could. It looks like he was working on a variety of things. It looks like something that could possibly enhance what weapons could do. It seems like there were just more. He had a lot of interests. While medicine was his main priority, it seemed that he was also very much a tinkerer and was understood Dwemer in a way that he understood Dwemer in a way that was quite advanced.
He's like our time's Leonardo da Vinci.
Kinda, yeah.
Got it. I turn to Hugo and I say, Cordy, and I say,
Yeah, wrong mushroom guy.
Yeah, sorry. So much. Sorry, lock me up. God, cancel me. Seems we'll have our hands full creating some tinctures and like.
Absolutely, yes. I figured you may want these as they may help us out.
Well, I can't do it without my lab partner.
Oh, well, I like that. Look, while I have you here, I did find something else. And I will, I think, pull out the diagram of Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I obviously this is not mine to keep or anything like that, but I think after you study it a bit, perhaps the rest of us should as well. Should we know how to help should anything happen?
Thank you. Probably would be wise. I don't really know. Yes, this is a strange way of putting it, how I'm designed.
Well, looks like you get to find out.
Guess so. And I think in this moment, I don't start immediately reading it. I think I'll just put it away for now to start reading later.
Absolutely.
Just remember to get that back to me at your earliest convenience.
Oh,
Again, just
yes,
for your
of course.
safety, it's for yours.
Yeah, of course.
Good old. Amazing. So as you exchange that information there, have that little moment, I am going to cut back outside to Elanor as you kind of stand there in that moment. What does Elanor do after that? After kind of seeing that exchange in that moment?
I don't think she knows what to do with herself after. She doesn't know if she wants to confront Róisín and ask for him not to do that again, but it feels wrong because it's not like Thessalus is hers and that he can't make his own decisions. She doesn't know whether to try and make light of the whole situation and go and talk to Thessalus. She doesn't know or understand the weight in her chest right now. And so she kind of almost just stands there, overwhelmed by these emotions and by the different paths that she could take right now. She could just forget it even happened and maybe do like a quick little walk around the perimeter and make sure that they're okay. She could go and check in with Yara, make sure Yara is okay. Like, there are so many things in her brain that are telling her to both pretend like this didn't happen and to confront the situation head on. And I think eventually she just stumbles out of the tree and finds herself aimlessly walking around in a way to get her mind back on track and to feel useful.
Okay. Elanor,
Mm-hmm.
as you walk around in this moment, there are a couple things that are going to happen.
Oh boy.
First thing
Mm-hmm.
is your little crow friend kind of hops on your shoulders a little bit and kind of picks a couple pieces of little bramble that's still in your hair from when you were moving through the Whispering Woods. And I think as you walk around this space, could you make an instinct reaction roll for me in this
A
moment?
reaction roll? Okay.
A reaction roll. Yeah, so hope and fear won't matter in this
Great.
moment.
But I can mark a stress to get advantage, and I think I will. I'm gonna mark a stress to gain advantage.
Good call.
I want
Good
advantage.
call.
Can I have a stress, please?
I'd like
Okay,
stress.
we'll just there we go. D6, correct?
A D6 is advantage. Yep.
Okay. That is 7 plus 5 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. 16.
Okay.
Oh God.
Elanor. As you are walking through the space, your mind in different places, while you are normally very aware of what is around you, there is a moment, there's a small lapse where you don't see the thing that moves through the shadows at tremendous speed at you. And by the time you see it, you see this pale, feminine creature. It has cephalopod-like features with dozens of tendrils, serrated bones jutting out from them, and a strange fanned veil as it strikes.
I don't want it.
And that's where we're going to end our episode here, and we'll pick up next time.
I can't scream! This is unfair!
I love it.
Thanks for tuning in to The Last Arcanist. Join us next week as we find out what creature has been following the collective since the Whispering Woods, and the fate of what happens to Elanor. New episodes every Thursday of The Last Arcanist, so come escape the mundane with us into the realms of Atalantia. Bye-bye.